You can see Kirby here's a level 100 Grandmaster. That means she's played the game quite a bit. Yeah, she's doing all kinds of crazy techniques here, by the way, that we should talk about.
Hi everyone, we're Enhance, and today we're watching Tetris Effect Connected. My name's Sarah Crow, I'm the Community and Social Media Specialist. And yeah, we're going to be watching Kirby do an expert mode run.
Kirby!
Kirby's wonderful. I'll pass it over to Tatajima-san to introduce himself.
Okay, yeah, I'm Tomohiro Tatejima from Enhance. I'm a multiplayer lead game designer of Tetris Effect Connected update. So I'm super excited to see this speedrun.
And Tatajima-san is our one real expert player here. He's the one person who could probably play at these speeds. I'm Mark McDonald. I was a producer on this title. And yeah, shout outs to Kirby. This is going to be her speed run. This is going to be a little bit different devs react, I think. It's Tetris. There's not any like special sequence breaking. There's just real, real skill play. Hopefully not any bugs or things like that either. But yeah, just somebody playing through journey mode. This is the single player mode of the game as fast as they possibly can, and it's pretty fast. Kirby is who you're seeing play here. Is an awesome member of our community. Love her. There's a story behind her, a connection to the game that maybe we'll get into later, but she's already through the first level there.
Yeah.
So
that was
fast.
Deep Sea, by the way. Deep Sea is like our prototype level. We iterated on that the most. So it's probably our most polished level. It has that music that kind of became iconic thing for the game. She's just blazing through, and she's playing on difficult here. She's playing on the hardest difficulty, and that's why her number of lines is 48. Normally, on normal difficulty, you only have to clear 30. So she's actually doing it in hard mode here. Yeah.
Yeah, this is incredibly fast. Another thing for viewers to note as well is you can check the in-game speed level by looking at where it says speed level in the UI. 10 is quite fast. It might not look like it right now, but I really struggle at 10. So 10 is impressive as it is.
This stage 2, well, that's already over now as well. So that was Pharaoh's Code. That's one of my favorite stages just visually. But that stage is like our hip hop musical stage. And it had a different song. We brought it to E3 and had a demo. So you could find videos of the old song with the old lyrics. It was the same song, but the lyrics changed because we were like, I think it could be a little better, but that changed towards the end. And then this stage, actually, we moved around the order of the stages a bunch, but this stage we moved up because people, even by this point in the game, a lot of people didn't realize, oh, hey, wait, when I'm pushing the button and spinning the pieces, it's actually making music and it's making things happen in the game. And this stage is kind of like every button you hit, it plays drums. They do that big, reverberating effect. Like you can't help but notice it at this stage, but it was always surprising to us because people would get so into Tetris that they don't even notice that what they're doing is actually making music and stuff. Actually, Tatajima-san, I wanted to ask you about this. She got rated B here.
Yeah.
which is like, is that because she's not going for score, obviously. She's just going for speed. So she's doing, some single lines and stuff like that. Do you know, is that why she's getting the lower score? I think speed is not really a factor at all in that. It's only score.
Yes, it's it's based on score, and she's making a little bit singles or doubles, not Tetrises, by a few misdrops, and the score. There's one thing you can achieve high score in the game. That's the zone.
Right. She's not using the zone at all.
Isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, and that's huge for score. So
Yes.
we could talk about what the zone is, even though she's not going to use it at all. And there goes another stage. She's not going to use the zone, which is our new big mechanic for Tetris Effect, which kind of freezes time, and then you rack up like as many lines as you can. They move to the bottom. You can get up to actually over 20 lines, which we didn't know about. And we could talk about that. You will see it at one point in this run. But in a normal actual speed run, I wonder if you well, we should talk about that towards the end of this match when you actually see it. There's something special and a reason why we will see the zone in this run. But yeah, we should wait to talk about that.
For sure.
So actually, Tatsushima-san, I wanted to ask you. So when you're playing like this, when you're playing for speed, you're just trying to go as fast as you can.
Yes.
Like what are the things that you have to think about? Like obviously she has 4-piece preview going, so she can see 4 pieces ahead to which of the next 4 pieces that come. But is there any special way that you play when you want to just go for speed?
One thing I think it's important is the look at the lines counter. You will need to erase just 48 lines because any extra lines will be discarded. So not 49 or 50 lines.
Yeah, I think I remember when I watched this speedrun for the first time, Kirby actually spoke about that, and she brought that up.
Yeah. So in other words, if she got up to 47 lines cleared and cleared a Tetris, it would clear 4 more lines. It would go to whatever 51, but those would be wasted. And instead, she could just clear 1 line and then clear those next 3 in the next stage, and it counts towards speed. There's actually a lot going on. Yeah. So there, see, she's cleared exactly 48.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Let's see, where are we? That was Da Vinci. So Ritual Passion.
Ritual Passion.
This stage like totally stressed people out at E3 in the demo. They were like, they loved it, but they were like, whoa, and they leaned in, because it gets really intense in the second half of this stage. This part is really chill. You can see the speed is just 6.
Yes.
No, it's 12.
It's 12, and I think it goes to 16 or something at the end of the stage. Yeah, so people were like, "Oh, it's like cool, chill Tetris," and we're like, "Yeah, kind of." And then they would come to this. This stresses me out when she gets this close to the top of the matrix. By the way, she's totally talking the whole time. She's cool as a cucumber, but whenever she gets that close to topping out, I always get super nervous.
If I was playing at this speed, I would not be able to have a conversation, especially knowing that I'm, live on air. I think just doing that itself is really impressive.
B again. Maybe she'll get better. Try harder next time, Curry. Come on. No, that scoring system is really funny too, because we got that at E3 was our first public demos. And people would play it and they were like, "Oh, it's so great, I love it." And then the rating would come and it'd be like a D. It was much hard. It was much harder, and they'd be like, "Oh, I guess I suck and I didn't have fun." And we're like, "Okay, we need to change that. That's way too hard."
Maybe it could be interesting to actually talk about what the score ratings mean. Like, obviously, depending on the score you get, you're going to get a better rating, but do we know how difficult it is to get like a double S? What's that like?
Yeah, I don't have the exact score totals at the different times. We did massage that a bunch, especially right up to the very end. But yeah, you can go B, C, B, A, S, double S. But yeah, the exact score lines, I'm not sure. This stage took a lot of tuning because the dolphins would get in the way, as you'll see. Is like we wanted the dolphins to be there and be noticeable and kind of make sure that you could tell that everything was 3D and they were on top of stuff, and especially in VR that it was really 3D. But yeah, the dolphins would just get in the way to where people would be like, "Look, all right, cool, dolphins. Yeah, I get it, but like, don't screw up my blocks."
Yeah, I love this stage,
Yeah.
especially in
It's one of
VR.
my favorites too. It's so pretty.
A lot of these stages too, yeah, are like a whole nother level in VR. So yeah, if people don't know, you can play this game in 2D, but yeah, like kind of the ultimate way to play it, the best way is in VR. And I guess the refresh rate is a little faster. Tatajima-san, when you finished master mode, you were the first person. We didn't even know if it was. We tested it by cheating, but we didn't know if it was physically possible for a normal person to finish master mode, which is a different skill set mode. But when you did it in VR, right? Because it was a little faster and a little easier to concentrate, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's easier to concentrate in VR, and also the VR. I feel VR has less latency than my standard monitor. So yeah, it makes me easier to play.
This stage also was one of the biggest like proof of concepts. Downtown Jazz is what it ended up being called, but like this is one of those stages where you're kind of making. You can really tell you're making the music. It's almost improvisational.
Yeah,
and actually people liked it so much that we ended up prototyping. We tried to say, oh well, wait, maybe we should make a mode or make other levels where your actions make the music or make lyrics. Like one of the things we had was a stage where you're placing blocks and clearing lines made lyrics happen.
Oh, the community are gonna get excited hearing you say that.
Well, don't get too excited because we tried it and couldn't get it to work and be fun. But it was a cool idea. Maybe someday us or somebody can.
Definitely. I just want to quickly point out too, the community has very mixed opinions on Downtown Jazz. It's either your favorite stage or you don't like it. I am in the boat of it's my favorite. I think it's fantastic, but it's definitely one of those ones where people have big opinions.
Yeah.
Every time it comes up, there's a lot of discussion.
After our launch, somebody tweeted it and just pointing out and had with a video that had sound, and Brad Bird, actually the director of The Incredibles and a bunch of awesome movies, actually commented on how awesome it was. So I'm going to take that as vindication that it is actually awesome and that the haters are totally wrong. You can see Kirby here is a grand level 100 grandmaster. That means she's played the game quite a bit. There's an experience system that you are rewarded playing. This is the single player. There's a separate one for multiplayer, but yeah, it takes, especially getting up into the 80s and 90s. Stuff unlocks at like 50 because we were like, well, we can't expect people to get over 50. And she's totally maxed out. Oh, missed a T-spin. Rareness. Yeah, she's doing all kinds of crazy techniques here, by the way, that we should talk about a little bit. You can see her doing tucks where there's a odd-shaped gap, and she's tucking the piece in. And then T-spins. Do you want to talk, Tachijima-san, about what a T-spin is?
Yeah, T-spin is a technique. Your purple pieces, it's called a T piece, spins at the floor, and you mean it's difficult to explain.
There's a T that's called the T, the little one that's like a cross missing one piece, that's called a T. It looks like a T. But that's a T piece, and then a T-spin is when you have a gap that's uniquely that shape, and you can do double and triples and guide them in. So you see there she has like a gap there. Boom, she just did a little like half T-spin. Let's see. What do we got? Where are we? We're in the forest. So this one we had to actually license Speedtree. I don't think it's used anywhere else in the game. There might be some palm trees where it's used, but if you notice in the credits, Speed Tree is credited, and some people are like, "Why? There's not. It's not like a lot of open world games and stuff like that use Speed Tree, but we used it. I think almost exclusively for this stage.
The trees are very beautiful. They're
Yeah.
I
important.
gotta say, those are some
Agree.
good job, Speed Tree. Those are some good trees. This level is Kaleidoscope. This level was really hard to balance because if it's too prominent, it just like you're freaking out. Like especially in VR, it's just like it can be way too much. I mean, that was a big part of the balancing in general. Is like significant but not too much, and you can tell here like the kaleidoscopes are reacting to even spinning the pieces, which sometimes people also don't notice. Like only certain backgrounds do it. Like I think that Da Vinci stage is the first stage where it happens, and we moved that again. The order of all these stages is really intentional. We moved that Da Vinci stage up earlier to like try to get people to try to help people notice that.
Cool.
You should say too, like the pieces here are colored the classic Tetris colors. That's an option by default. It doesn't look like this, but
Yeah.
because
That's good to call out.
yeah, she's but she does this so she could instantly like you see a piece not only by the shape but by the color. She knows immediately like the difference between an S and a Z piece, which I still I still can't. I don't know how you guys do it, Tajima-san. I have to just start rotating the piece until I can tell. Oh, it's an L, or is it a what's the other L called?
J.
I don't even know. A J.
A J.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know to say it if it's an L or a J without fumbling around for a while. This is one of the few stages. This stage I think is all 2D elements layered.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and was in VR especially because you get the depth of the different layers. That like ended up being one of my favorites. Turtle, what is that? Turtle Dreams was the name of that one.
I'm just still shocked at how quick she's powering through these levels. We hardly have time to talk about each
No,
one
I know.
thoroughly.
Right.
Yeah, and then it's over.
This is one of my favorite levels. I really like this one.
Yeah.
This was interesting because it's just. I mean, it's such a simple idea. It's just fireworks, but
Yeah.
with
It
the
it
fog,
reminds
there was actually
me
yeah.
of when you're like at an event on New Year's Eve and there's just heaps of commotion going on in the background. You can hear fireworks everywhere. That's what this stage reminds me of.
It took a lot. It looks so simple seeing it now, but like it took a lot of tuning on this one as well because fireworks like literally just grab your attention no matter what you're doing. And so like the colors of the fireworks, the fog, like actually how much fog there is and not. And actually, and again, I'm just gonna keep saying this, but in VR that stage looks pretty different as well.
I'm really glad the first time I played the game, it was in VR. It was a beautiful experience.
Yeah, so this is one of a few stages that are based on real world places. I won't say where exactly. And I don't know. I mean, it probably was. The team took a couple trips for reference. As you can probably tell, Hawaii is one of them. There's like a preponderance of kind of tropical island themed stages, but I think they might have also gone to Bali early on in pre-production. But this, I think most of the stages are kind of an amalgamation. Oh, here's a T-spin. Boom, there you go.
Yeah, T-spin triple. That's cool.
T-spin triple, yeah. So like, yeah, those gaps are like, what? This is a total mistake. No, actually, she's just set up for to do something like that. So like, I don't understand people at this level how their mind works. It's just like sorcery to me. So let's see. This is Aurora Peak. This stage has something different. You can see most of the stages have like 3 phases where if you clear 1/3 the amount of total lines, it moves on and something changes in the background. This stage has like 4 or 5. You can see you're kind of like climbing up the mountain
Yeah.
You get through the storm, and then it's kind of clear up here, and then eventually, yeah, the sun sets. Each of these is like another phase. We call them internally, and then you get the Aurora Borealis at the end. Yeah, man, I love. Just keep saying it with every stage. They're all our children. We can't choose a favorite, but this one is the Aurora Borealis. They really nailed it.
I'm just like reflecting on how long it takes me to do a journey mode run and then comparing it to this and sitting here just going, how on earth is this happening?
Yeah, I'm especially sensitive to it now because we're testing the as we record this, we're testing the Switch version coming October 8th. Little plug there. We're testing the Switch version right now, and so a lot of times I just want to play through journey mode as fast as I can to see all the stages, and yeah, it's not this this fast. Even using the debug command that sets up for a Tetris immediately, it gives you a long bar and sets up for a Tetris, is like barely faster than this for me. As fast as I can go through the stages using debug.
Yeah, it really just shows off Kirby's skill here. Not many players can do this. It's really impressive.
So good.
Yeah, so that was Zen Blossoms. That's probably our most chill stage of them all.
Right.
This stage, I forget. It had a bunch of different names, but these like the two balls there represent. They have some deep meaning. A lot of these stages do. And like the overall mode, journey mode, actually has like a narrative. It has kind of a story to it.
You are going to ignite the community talking about this because this is something they bring up really often. They're like, is there lore behind journey mode?
There's absolutely lore. There's journey mode lore.
Oh,
and so,
this is just
I will
gonna
say,
start a lot of discussions.
this stage, yin and yang, I forget. It represented different things. It's like passion versus logic, and there were like 4 other things like that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. But when they bounce together, can we make it where the sparks go more? Blah blah blah. Yeah, no, the team got really. We should shout out to Ishihara-san, who is the director and art director of this game. Almost all these stages sprung from him, and of course the team at large at Monstars and Resonair worked so hard. There's so much polish went into these stages. I mean, as you can imagine, the Tetris part of it was the easy part that had existing rules and everybody knew and we're on the same page about how I was going to play. But all of the little touches, which in a game like this really are important, it was constant iteration and having people play it and try it, and then second guessing everything and just iteration. Tons and tons of work went into even the easy stages. This stage is, look at that, speed level 20.
Yeah,
I'm getting
maximum.
nervous watching this now.
I got really nervous there for her for a second, but she was never breaking a sweat.
Yeah.
Le Soul, yeah, that thing gets. She had a misdrop or two there, but completely covered, no problem. But a B, the game says, for your efforts. Still just a B. Let's see, Starfall, this one. Another mountain stage. We had a couple mountain stages. We did, while we're talking trivia, too, it was around here, we cut a stage pretty late in development because we couldn't get the performance up well enough, and actually it just wasn't working totally. It was didn't really have a name, but it was Cherry Blossoms. It started off with Cherry Blossoms. It was pretty cool, and then later on in the third phase it became like this lake, but lake kind of wasn't working, and it was going to need to be reworked, and the Cherry Blossoms were just so performance intensive that yeah, somewhere maybe we'll dig up an old video of it or something. I mean, it got to maybe like the last 6 months or something, and then we're like, we have 30 I forget what we ended up with, maybe 29 journey mode stages. We had too many already.
Yeah, I bet people would love to know what some of those concepts were, if we can share them at some point.
Yeah, and there is a GDC talk. We didn't show that level, but we do talk about a lot of this stuff. The making of GDC talk, where with me and Mizuguchi-san, also shouts out to Mizuguchi-san and Ishihara-san, who I mentioned earlier, the art director. Talks about a lot of interesting things, especially like how to make this game, you know, beautiful and something that you can notice and appreciate in VR, but not be too much in VR. And he has this really interesting anecdote about when you're driving a car that you can enjoy scenery, you can enjoy a nice drive, like down the coast while driving a car. Striking that balance between like what's going on in your peripheral vision and what you're concentrating on was like, yeah. Anyway, check that out. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, that got
want.
uploaded just the other day, so anyone can go watch that now, which is fantastic.
That's right. Yeah, it's no longer on the vault. There's a mermaid level. They added a bunch of animations near the end. The mermaids were much more stiff and kind of looked less like living things and more just like decoration until pretty late on. We should mention also, she's zoomed in, by the way. She has her view zoomed in, so like the stages you're seeing are a little different than you would play them in a normal game.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will recognize the artwork from this stage because it was on the key art.
There you go. Yep. Our box art and is everywhere. Let's see, we're getting close to the end here. So Orbit, this is one of the stages in VR. It's kind of different because you can look around. You're kind of inside the space station here. But it's modeled all to the sides and behind you. So and the next stage, she's going to go through it so fast, I should probably just skip on to the next stage. We one other shout out on this stage. We had to license the NASA photo, the International Space Station. Yeah, you can see lots of little interesting things if you look in the credits.
I have noticed that actually. Yeah.
This is the actual ISS, International Space Station. But so on the next stage, Stratosphere, this is one that we included like a little Easter egg. But didn't call attention to it. That it depends on the music changes depending on the time of day that you play. It checks your system clock, and there's, I think, is it 2 different tracks or 3 different?
I think it's
tracks?
3.
Okay, yeah, it's like the morning and afternoon and night, and we've got emails and tweets from people when we first released, and people couldn't Google it, saying, hey, you patched the game and removed this song. I really like this song. And they were pissed. They were upset. They were like, you shouldn't just patch, and remove things. And rightly so. I would be too. And we're like, no, and we didn't want to outright say it. Like, there might be, it's still in there. We didn't patch it out. Like, look around, ask around. You might be able to figure it out. And eventually people figured it out. People figured out all our secrets. If you have the game, we're not going to see them today because they're not part of Journey Mode, but there are 2 secret stages, 1984 and 1989. I'll just say that. If you want to, you can
there
Google
are definitely guides out there that you can Google. Yes.
Yeah. And so, this brings us to our final section. We did also have it. These sections used to be more important when you died, quote unquote died, when you topped out. You used to go back to the last one of those sections. So you could go up to like 3 or 4 or 5 levels back. And we just determined like, okay, that's too much. We want it to be not that difficult, that hard of a thing. And so that's why the Journey Mode is one of the reasons why Journey Mode is sectioned up how it is. And this is the last level is its own section. This is Metamorphosis, which is, I love this song. Like literally,
same.
I agree.
in this final stage, you tell it's 90 lines here, so we wanted it to make it like a extra special challenge. It's calling back to all the previous stages. You're seeing all the different types of sea life that you've seen throughout the stages: the dolphins, the fish, the mantas, the mermaids, all of that stuff.
I do
This is
remember
hard. Yeah.
the first time I actually finished playing through expert mode, I had to redo this stage several times because it is
Yes.
quite challenging.
Even on normal, this
Yeah.
is Tajima-san's laughing at us because this is
Yeah.
so easy for him. But like, this is really hard for me, and we saw lots of people saying that they were stuck on it for a couple days. But
Yeah.
I do think that it makes the ending more special, when you have to work for it. So
It is very satisfying when you finally complete it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we should set this up. So we mentioned it a little bit, alluded to it earlier, but because Kirby has played through without topping out once, when she finishes the stage here, a special thing's going to happen. Keep an eye on, Max just changed to that infinity symbol in the lower left. That's her zone meter. And now we're finally in the zone. It's the only time she's going to go into the zone. This is the mechanic we talked about earlier, new to Tetris Effect. We got this in the last 6 months of the game. We were trying to think what is going to be our new namesake mechanic the game, and we were experimenting with reversing time, and we realized that was not going to work, and so we came up with this. And what Kirby's attempting here, this is ridiculous. Yeah, the order of pieces and everything she's doing right now, there's a lot going on. She's setting up to do over 20 lines, which the Matrix only has 20 lines. She's setting up to go over that, but it's really freaking hard to do. She's really good at it, hence we have a thing named the game named after her. If you clear 21 lines, you get a Curbtris. Other ones are like Octorus, or they're all named after the amount of lines. So see here, she just got bad pieces, but she's still got 19, which is bonkers.
I've never done that before. It's really hard to do.
Even the setting up for it is ridiculous, but the community has gotten, we didn't even know.
They continue to do things that we didn't think were possible.
Yeah, they got a 24 in multiplayer using pieces that the boss sends at you and all of this stuff. So here's our ending featuring Ishihara-san's daughter, I believe, had just born a little bit before this game, and I think she makes a vocal cameo in this. Shouts out to her.
Nice.
This was 2D for a long time, even in VR, but we got it. The team worked extra hard at the end and got it. Shout outs again to Monstars, everybody there. Just Kodera-san, Sawaka-san, everybody just so dedicated, so awesome. Izuguchi-san, the prisoner, and everybody again, the community, you surprise and impress us every day. And what else? Thanks IGN for having us.
That's so quick. It went so quickly.
It did. Thanks everybody. Check out Tetris Effect Connected on anywhere you play video games, especially on Switch. It's our newest version. Thanks for playing, and we'll see you online.